Hello, I'm Damian Barrett and welcome to the 2018 Wash-Up for the Gold Coast Suns, brought to you by Karcher. Callum Twomey, Matthew Lloyd are with me, and Cal, does this club need to rebuild the whole list, or is there enough talent still at the Suns?
Yeah, Damo, I think there's enough talent there, and they get another chance to go and load up at the draft again with a couple of early picks and maybe a priority pick as well. But there's a few other issues at this club. It's not just the list. This is the sixth time in 8 years they finished bottom four. So they're a sick club and they need to fix a few things.
There's a lot to wade through, and we will. We'll start with some highlights though, Lloydie.
Had to be the win in round 18, Damo, against the Sydney Swans. They were 29 points down. They kept the Swans goalless for 2 quarters and they ran away with it and just were too dominant through the midfield. I think it's the upset of the season. What a win it was. They were just brilliant. You saw Lachie Weller probably have his greatest game for the football club, and Shuey Jew couldn't believe it. John Longmire was devastated. It was just one of the great wins for their football club. Probably their greatest ever.
Their greatest ever, yeah. Look, I'm going back to round 5, Lotto, where it was not as good a win as the one against the Suns, but it was the Q clash, and it was a game where Touk Miller did this late. He was the first of his 2 occasions in 2018 where he got right inside the head of Dane Zorko, and you can see why the club itself thinks he's a really good leader. That was Rayner having a shot very late in the piece there to potentially tie the game up.
At this point, ththings looked okay for them.
They did. Round 5, it did look half okay.
Third win in 5 games.
Yeah, 3 out of 5, and then they had a few more games away, given the redevelopment of the main stadium there, Metricon Stadium. But the fact that stadium's up and running because of the Commonwealth Games, it's another highlight too. But there weren't too many. Yeah, let's get to some lowlights, Cal.
Yeah, this was a shocker period for them. They went a month without kicking a goal in the final quarters. Look at the sinking Suns here. Round 9 to round 13, they didn't kick a goal. Outscored in that period 15-11, 101 to 0-2. That's pathetic stuff from the Suns. You just can't give them any excuses for that. They're on the road for a long time. We get all that. They've been from China to Ballarat, but that's just not good enough. The other thing that I was a little bit curious about was some odd selections at times. They had Ben Ainsworth and Jack Scrimshaw playing a lot of NAFL footy later in the year. Jared Lyons they bring into the club, he's there. Michael Barlow they bring him, he barely plays. There's just some confusing selections.
That was a theme, obviously, those bad last quarters. The whole Tom Lynch saga was disgraced, the way it was handled, I feel, from the individual and the club. And they all need to take some responsibility for it. It played out in a really embarrassing way, an unprofessional way on some aspects of it. And I think that he moped around for the entirety of the season until he made his point. And we know he had an injury, so he had a reason to be a little bit mopish. But at the same time, I don't think he at all held himself and carried himself well. Now
that he's made the call, where do you think he ends up?
Look, the industry itself, and you know this, I think yourself, Cal, it still says Richmond at this point.
It does, doesn't it?
There's a curveball coming somewhere, whether it's Collingwood's concerted pitch or whether it's Clarko getting back into it as well. But yeah, that's right now. I think the industry's right. It's time to mark them out of 10. And Lloydie, you go first.
I could have given them a 1, but I've gone a 2 for the amount of travel they've done, Cal.
Exactly the same reason too. I've given 2 there, Lloydie.
Yeah, I'm not generous, boys. I'm sticking with
They're on the road for 10 weeks.
Yeah, well, bad luck. They didn't fix their form up once they got back into their home ground. Who cleaned up for the Suns in 2018?
This man deserves a lot of credit for cleaning up. This is Jared Harbrow. What a player he has been for the Gold Coast Suns. He's probably been the best recruit, you'd say, Cal, since from that initial period. I just think he's durable, so hasn't missed a game in season 2018. He's tougher than people give him credit for, and like I touched on with Cade Simpson, he's very similar in his poise, his balance, got a little bit more leg speed, and he's been fantastic.
You mentioned all the guys they picked up early doors. They got Brown, Brennan, Cracker. He's definitely the one that stands out. Another pickup that I liked has been Nick Holman. He's been a standout. He's the type of guy that the Blues would love. They had him a couple of years ago. They delisted him. He spent 2 years in the sample and has come in and played every game for the Gold Coast this year. Averaged 17 touches, kicked 14 goals. A brute around the contest. We'll see his tackling pressure, added some real physicality to that team. So good luck to Nick for turning around his career, his second chance, and also for the Suns recruiters for finding him and spotting him and now giving him a chance.
Who's the next one out there, like a Holman, that the Suns could take? Because they're the type of players that are going to stick with them just because they're desperate for a chance.
There's a guy in the VFL called Josh Corbett, 190 centimetres, played a lot of footy and is ready to go, so someone to look for.
When you finish as low on the ladder as the Suns have and have done regularly, there's a lot of people under pressure. I'm putting Stephen May, the co-captain, into this category. I hear what he says, but I want him to look down the barrel of a camera pretty soon and say, I'm here for the long haul. I know he's contracted for 2019, but that's not enough. And I reckon if he can't commit, and I don't mind it if he doesn't, it's his right to make the decision if he wants to go. But let's have this conversation this off-season, not the one next year, because they can't go into another period where their captain is being debated about his own future.
They can't have another year of that, can they? It's been a disaster this year.
And he's entitled to go if he wants to, and I respect if he wants to, but have the conversation this year.
Yeah, geez, I'd be nervous if I was Steve, who walked in and said I was out. But under pressure for mine is Michael Barlow and Jared Lyons. For the reason that you said, Cal, just hasn't played them enough, has he? Stewie Dewey, you'd think
strange.
They'd be desperate to have them in. I think they're better whenever they play, those
Jared
two.
Lyons was great last year. It hasn't come on this year.
And Michael Barlow, I think he got some games late in the season and they pretty competitive, so I'd be worried if I was those two in the off-season.
Lloydie, was there any reason for any Suns supporters to smile this year?
There wasn't too much on the field, but off-field, this could have been very dangerous, but at least we can laugh about it now. Here's this man flying over the fence, but why I find it funny was, this is why he gets escorted out. I reckon it's for the fall. It's for a man at that age wearing those ripped jeans.
And three-quarters.
And
boat shoes too. He's going to the polo.
So many areas in which they need to improve. To me, it's just get some standing and some clout in the region in which they're based, the southeast Queensland part of the country. It's in a very vulnerable state right now. It's regularly been that way, but this club has now been in there 8 years, no better than 12th ever, and it's time. And I don't want to be too emotive about this, but the relevance for this club on the industry and the drain on the industry, it needs to be rectified and rectified soon.
The closest they've come to a sellout was at the Commonwealth Games, wasn't it? It looked terrific. Metric State. Look, I'm a big fan of the King Twins, as are you, Lloyd. You've spent a lot of time with them at Hailey College. They're going to have picks 2 and 3 in the draft. Do they just take them? I think they're a great fit for them. They're the two key position players. They can bring him in and give him a real future. Oh, it'd be fantastic for them if they can do that. But, centre-half back, centre-half forward for the next 10 years. For mine, the walkouts. We've seen what Brisbane have done. It's amazing how Chris Fagan's turned it around. No one looks like walking out of there at the moment, by the sounds of it. But I look at it, Caddy, Prestia, Dixon, Bennell, Sardo, Mira Ablett, add Lynch to the mix. It's been horrible for them.
Yeah, it has. It's been disastrous in 2018, which leaves us to predicting where they're going to be next year. Lordo?
I'm more probably bolder about Carlton than the Suns, so I think 15 to 18 again.
15 to 18 again, bottom 2 for me.
Yeah, I'm following you guys in there again. I look to be very similar next year as it has been this year. Lloydie and Cal, thank you. And that's the wash-up for the Suns in 2018.